The title of my sermon today is Love is More Powerful Than Hate. Love is more powerful than hate. And if you have your Bibles with you, I would ask that you turn with me to the book of Luke. The book of Luke, chapter 10. Chapter 10. And for just to make up some time, we'll look at verse 30. Verse 30. Luke chapter 10 and verse 30. A certain man went down from Jerusalem to Jericho and fell among thieves, which stripped him of his raiment and wounded him and departed, leaving him half dead. I looked at that part twice. Half dead. Now, during the time of Christ, there were two tribes that was constant, they were constant menace to him, namely the Pharisees and the Sadducees. These men were experts in the law. Oftentimes they tried to ensnare Jesus to expose him as one who is ignorant of the law and one who is breaking the law. And you know, sometimes some folks will ask you some questions just to catch you, yes, sir, just to get in your business. They're asking you leading questions. But among them, among the group, was a lawyer skilled in the law of Moses. He not only writes the law, but he interprets the law enough to have a healthy debate with Jesus. And we can see that in Matthew chapter 22, 36, also as in Luke. The lawyer asks a poignant question. Master, which is the greatest commandment in the law? This was a salvific question, really. And Jesus gave him two answers. Firstly, love the Lord. Christianity is not science. There are two things. It's not returning your tithe. That's secondary. I want us to understand that, and our teacher brought it out so well this morning. I hope that you got it. Christianity, it's not science. Two things you need to do. They hang the law. Firstly, love to God, and the second one is what? Where's my church? Love your neighbor as yourself. You could come to church every day. You don't have those two right, you haven't started. My Lord. The question could have ended up in some philosophical or theological debate. Luke 10, 25 to 30. You can read it when you get home. You see, they went away and they came back to Jesus, interrogating Jesus. But Jesus, who was busy on mission of mercy, quickly take the conversation to a dangerous curve between Jerusalem and Jericho. He cut to the chase with a parable and meticulously laid the foundation in verse 30. A certain man. A certain man. No name, Pastor. Just as, you know, Jesus was the greatest psychologist. He was the greatest psychologist when you study, he know he was coming with something else away down the tube. He's just beginning, Pastor. A certain man. We don't know much about this man except to say he left Jerusalem and he made a right turn to the dangerous road down to Jericho. 17 miles from Jerusalem. Thieves parade that highway day and night like worms. Jericho Road was called the Bloody Path. You don't take that road unless you have Jesus with you. It was totally necessary because you are not sure if you're going to return when you go down Jericho Road. I have traveled that road in Jericho, and I don't want to go back. Sister Brown, I don't want to go back. It's rough. It's wooded area. It's a bad road, bad place. No wonder the song says, on the Jericho Road, there's room for us two. No more and no less, just Jesus and me. The verse 30, this undescriptive man was caught by youngsters, men with seared conscience and without natural affection. They killed and robbed what they see and what they don't see. They were like vampire bats. They sucked men's blood. And this reminds me, Pastor, of the Spanish pirates, Port Royal. If you know the story. In Jamaica, beautiful island, the best in the world. You know, we have other islands that's pretty, but everybody will agree with me that Jamaica is beautiful. I love St. Lucia. I love St. Vincent also, in Grenada. Beautiful country, but I think we need to bow a little bit. You know, just tip your cap a little bit. Nice beaches in those islands. But in Jamaica, something happened there in the 16th century. The street of Port Royal was a dangerous place to walk. The Spanish gambled and they drank rum and they robbed, they killed and tortured without mercy. They delivered baby on the street with knives and gambled. And they bet to see which child, whether male or female, would come. They were wicked guys. It was so dangerous, it was so bad that the earth opened one day and took the island in. It now sits underwater as a monumental display of evil. I went there most recently. Luke 10:30, I haven't left there. The thieves beat this man and ripped off his clothes. You know, sometimes somebody would rob you. They would take your money. But man, they took everything from that poor man. They stripped him naked. And then they ripped his clothes off. Whether they take it or not, I don't know. The licks they put on him were so hard on his back. His chances for survival were slim. He was left to die because it's a road less traveled. Nobody's going to go down there. So when they beat him, they left him there to die. As a matter of fact, they torture him. You might be on your Jericho road in life. I don't know where you are. You're facing some difficult moments in your life. You might not be in church today, but in the hearing of my voice, the sun sets on your bank account. You're down there where you can't hear nobody pray. You are knocked out and people give up on you. But I want to let you know to hold on. Never give up on Jesus because he never gives up on you. When everybody, and the Bible said, when your father and your mother forsake you, then the Lord will take you out. You know why you shouldn't give up on Jesus? Because in your struggle and in all the struggles of life, Jesus is your umpire. He calls the shot. You're not out until he said you're out. It's not over until you said until God says it's over. He's your umpire. When others say you're out, you will say, not out. Not out. Verse 31. The beaten man was down for the count. He couldn't lift his head. He could not raise his head, his body on one side or the other. He was left there, almost lifeless. But he pressed his ear on the ground to listen for the stately steps of somebody who was coming. The Bible said, finally, somebody. And I would imagine when you are in situations like that and you're waiting for help, any help you can get, you're just listening out. And here comes the story. My poor brother. You know, I almost lost my life. And I know he's sorry to this day. But as an older brother, I used to talk to my brother, and I said, now, you know, he used to go out and explore. Hi, son. He used to go out and explore on Friday nights, and I used to go to Kingston Tech. And I used to go home, and after a while, I used to go home and you know, I didn't have much friends, by the way. I didn't have many friends, especially in Kingston. As a young man, you stay away from company. It was not the best place to be. And so I used to try to help him and train him. But you know, he used to be a little bit disobedient. He's okay now. We can talk about our past. He put out his first CD. They call it the Wax. And he was walking on Mountain View. And I was home. And big man, he went into a place they have jukebox. And they put this wax on. And music started to fire. Music started to fire. And some bad boys were outside. And they went inside and said, we need this CD. Now that's the first CD. And so on from that CD, you press others. Right? And he said, no, you're not going to get it. No, my brother is fast. Both of us are fast runners. He always comes first. I always come second. He's fast. And somehow my brother, as he told me, he got the CD, and boy, not even Ben Johnson could catch him. But I was home that Friday evening, sunset, and I was having supper. I got in from school, and I was having supper, and the gate flung open wide, and I saw a shadow pass me. Yes, big man. That's how fast the man was. And he went right to the back. And I remember quite well, there was a crib, a baby crib, and he fit inside the crib. And the young man who was chasing him, the boys who were chasing, came to the door and closed their knives. And they said, we will catch you. Sabbath evening, that was Friday night, Sabbath evening. I told you I never had much friends, but I went on Mountain View. Those days were beautiful. The road was nice. Very beautiful. And I just sat there, fold my arms, watching the cars go by. I was just taking a little time and to go back into study. I saw a line of boys, young men coming, about 10 of them. Now, in Kingston, you know you don't look at people. That's one thing you learn. You don't keep looking and staring at it. You're finished. So I looked away as I see them coming, but that was the wrong thing. All of a sudden, I found myself in a circle. I looked to the right. I looked to the left. I looked up. I couldn't look back, but they were around me. And I heard a racket. It was a racket. Everybody. I folded my arm. Big man. The man who was going to do the kill. Yeah. I feel it even now. It happened many years ago. Yeah. He was to do the kill. And he came. He was tall. I was a short guy. And I looked up in the night. Moon was shining. The knife was white as snow. He came. And he put the knife here before he does. And he rubbed. He said, "Run now if you can." He said, "Run." I know I could run, but I couldn't run that time. There's nothing I could do. Never knives. Up to this day, all of a sudden, a little boy who I have never seen, I never saw, what are the English language? Help me. I never saw that young man before. A little kid. And just before the man lifted the knife, like Abraham with his son, the young man came and he grabbed his and said, No. Don't cut this man. I see this man going to church on Saturdays. Every Sabbath morning he has a Bible. Don't cut him. Don't cut him. That's why I'm standing here today. You know, at that time, when I was about to die, I never feel any way. It's now. It's after, long after. I sense what would have happened. And he said, "Aren't you Rupert?" No, that's hard now. I said, "No." He said, "Is your brother?" What would you do? No, here I'm the older brother. I'm not going to give away my brother. But I was about to die. What I would plan in my head to send him somewhere away, tell him they're looking for him. So I said, "Yeah, because we look alike." We had, you remember those big hair, what we call it? We had afro. We had we had high heel shoes. Yeah. Barefoot pants. Yeah. And we look alike. There's no way I could get out of it. I said, "Yes." Then he said, "Where is he?" My brother. What am I going to do with my brother? I can't get, that was the thing. I can't give away my younger brother. Should I take the knife? The boy was still holding. And I said, "I don't know where he is." And boy, hang on to him. Don't cut him. Finally, he left. And he rubbed the knife on my head and he said, "You sleep where you slept last night." And I didn't say anything. The thing that bothers me, if I had tried to run, I would have died anyway. Because the area where I would have run was right to my left. There was a kind of a briar patch there. There was a little dark corner there. And when they walked off and went a half a block, who came out? The man who was sitting in that area. But getting back to the story, when you are down there and somebody comes to help you, what a relief. And the Bible said he heard the stately footstep coming. You know, sometimes I'm in here and I heard Pastor Brown walking and I can know that his footsteps Pastor Brown walking. He's walking with authority. So he heard, I would imagine he said, that's got to be my pastor coming. The Bible said the priest came, and the priest took another route. He saw, the moment he saw, he went. You see, it seemed as if this priest knew that man. He was good in Jerusalem, in the church. He was good, but now he's on the street. This man is in trouble. He said, I don't know him. The next man that came was the Levi. These are all church people. And this is why our Sabbath school teacher did such a good job this morning. Yeah, these were all church people. And here, this man come and he said, he stooped down a little bit and looked and see the condition of the man. He said, no, brother. He took off. Now, Pastor, when you study the whole thing, you can't be, in a way, you can't be a little bit too hard on these men. Understanding the history and knowing where they were. Everybody fighting for their life. But here comes the Samaritan. Praise God. The Samaritan is like Jesus. When everybody else turned their backs on you, it doesn't matter how you are messed up. It doesn't matter how nobody wants you. They throw you out. Jesus will hose you up. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And put you in the right position that you ought to go. The situation that you find yourself is not your destiny when you have Jesus. Hang on with him, because someday he's going to take you out. The Jews and the Samaritans, by the way, had a problem from the Old Testament. They hated each other. Samaritans were half Jews, by the way. In the Old Testament, when the northern kingdom were taken captive by the Assyrians, they intermarried. And that's how the Samaritans came in with the Jews. And in a place called Samaria, where they worship false gods on Mount Gerizim. And during the rebuilding of the Jewish temple, the Samaritan threw pig blood in the temple and desecrate the building, and the work had to be stopped. And the Jews hate Samaritans. From that tension built up. In the New Testament, Jesus said, I remember I think in John 4, you'll see when Jesus met that woman. The priests and the Levites were Jews. Perhaps they thought the man that was falling and bleeding, they thought that he was a Samaritan. But you know who he was? He was also a Jew. They did not care because they thought that man was a Samaritan. Go back to 33. Then came the Samaritan. He became an ally of light and not of darkness. He demonstrated that all men are equal. And it doesn't matter, my friends, that you see somebody, sometimes they are down. You don't know what God has in plan for them. Because sometimes God allows you to go down in the valley to bring you to the top, to make you come out as gold. Samaritan did not ask, what religious body are you? Did not ask, what race are you or geographical location. He stooped down. He had what? Compassion. That's the word. The Greek word is sympomai, a disposition that fuels acts of kindness and mercy. His good deeds prove that love is more powerful than hate. Oscar Hammerstein wrote, a bell is not a bell till you ring it. A song is not a song till you sing it. Love is in your heart wasn't pure put there to stay. Love is not love till you give it away. Don't tell me you love me and don't show. It's only when, you see, love is an action word. You have to give it. In Egypt, all the male children were to be killed. But Pharaoh's daughter stepped out of the box and had compassion on Moses in the basket. As the Christians, we must be more compassionate. Friends, if we are more loving and kind to each other, people will beat the path of our church. We talk about it, but we don't know what it is. We don't know what it is. Be compassionate. Good always win. Evil lose every time. I don't watch, Pastor, I only watch one movie in my life to the end. It's called The Good, Bad, and the Ugly. But the good always win. And the point is, the Samaritan's act of kindness caused him to steal the spotlight in history. Take his place. Why? Who talks about the priest? Nobody. Who talks about the Levite today? Nobody talks about the Levite. Who even talks about the man who got hurt and was full of blood on the street? You know who people talk about? The Samaritan. Good. Do good, and good will follow you. Good never dies. Hate and evil dies, but good can't die. The good you do follow you. I don't know if I told you this story before of the man who wanted a Mercedes. He said, I have to drive in a Mercedes before I die. That was his dream, preacher. And so one day he was on the highway and he saw a car, a Mercedes, stop. And he passed and he came back and he saw the driver. The driver said, did you come to help me? The man said, yes. The driver said, you know what? I have been out here for hours and I can't change my tire. And everybody passed me. You're the only one that stopped. The man said, oh, no, I'll help you. I'll help you. Where the car was, it was a very precarious position. It was tough to do. And the man worked so hard and he was able to put the tire on. The driver said, thank you. The man went his way and the driver went his way. A couple of weeks after, as a matter of fact, they exchanged telephone. The driver, the old man, the man in his house, sit down and he got a call. Hello, this is the gentleman that you helped on the highway recently. I would like for you to come over. Oh, mercy, Pastor. You gave a testimony this morning. I would like for you to come over. I just want to have supper with you, my wife and I. Man dressed as Sister Brown, he went over there, went and they had supper. And after the man took this man in the den and said, you know what? I want to thank you ever so much for what you have done for me. When everybody else passed me, you stopped and you helped me. Tell me something. What is your desire in life? What would you like? What? Tell me. Write down everything and Did I do it right like Pastor Brown? Send it to me. The man said, tell me anything you want. He said, sir, you know, in life, I desire, my greatest desire is to drive my family in a Mercedes. The man said, that's all? He said, well, I want to let you know something. The Mercedes-Benz company down the street, I am the owner. Write down everything and send it to me. And he said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give you one, and I'm going to give your wife. Good always win. Evil always lose. I want to let you know something. Don't wait to be loved. Love. Don't wait for somebody to love you before you love them. Reach out, take your step, and love. Get out of the box sometimes. The question is not who is my neighbor, but am I a good neighbor? Good neighbors do not only see the problem, but do something about the problem. Your neighbor is anybody. Anybody, everywhere. Let me tell you something. You want to enjoy your Christian experience? Love people. Love people. Treat them good. Even if they don't treat you good, somebody else will treat you. Because whatever you do, you're doing it unto the Lord. One of the things that I enjoy in life is people. As bad, as wicked as this world is, I found the best people in the world. There are some bad ones. Don't worry about, you talk about people, you worry about what people have to say about you. Don't worry about it. You waste your time. As a matter of fact, don't keep negative people around you. Forget them. Don't bring them in the shade. Let them burn in the sun. Verse 36, in summation. Now Jesus went back to the lawyer and he said, now, he asked a question, which of these do you think was your neighbor? The expert in the law didn't want to say the word Samaritan or the good Samaritan. So he said, well, the one who had mercy on him. All three characters in the parable were church people. I want to let you know, if I can leave something with you today, be like the Samaritan. You just cannot lose. Then Jesus delivered the knockout blow, the knockout punch in verse 37. Go and do likewise. Go and break down prejudice and bigotry and oppression. Go and do good to others. Be kind. Share what you have. Go and pray for a good heart, not a beautiful face. Pray for a good heart, not a beautiful face. Beautiful things are not always good, but good things are always beautiful. Don't be so holy that you cannot see the pain of others. You don't have to ask them. See it, you can see it. Ask. Don't wait for somebody to come. Make the step. When we are kind. As a matter of fact, the Samaritan, that man who was on the road, he couldn't speak, he couldn't lift his head. The Samaritan went over. He was not invited. He went out of the box because he should not, according to the rules and the laws of their land. As a matter of fact, they don't drink tea from the same cup. Touch a Jew. He said, enough is enough, like Bernie Sanders. We must stop that and move that barrier from us and love all mankind. When we are kind and loving to others, we are reflecting the character of Jesus Christ. Because you know what? Jesus is love. Jesus doesn't have love. Jesus doesn't have love. All of Jesus is love. He can't love you any better. He can't love you any better because he is love. In closing, we can be better people if we were able to love each other, not to talk about it. And let me tell you something, my brothers and love is a virtue. You can't go home and say, I'm going to love. You can't do it. Love comes from Jesus, from the throne room. And so you got to go home and say, Lord, I do not have the capability to love, but help me set up your throne at the seat of my will and control my life and let me love even those who hate me. Because let me tell you something. To love people who don't love you, you think it's easy? You have some brother, you want to put them out, you want to put out their lights. You have some bad people, some grudgeful people, some wicked people, some mean people. You think it's easy? You think you can go home and just love them? The love that you have is Jesus puts it in your heart. You can't just love. So, love your enemies. Do good to them that hate you. God will bless you. You know, Jesus is anxious for his character to be fully reproduced in his people. That's and to represent him. And then he will come. You know, so I believe why Jesus hasn't come yet? Because we have not measured up. And he's given us that time. Love your enemies as yourself. The thing is, you can't choose your neighbor. Love your neighbor as yourself. You can't choose your neighbor. Whatever neighbor have, you better accept that. You got to love them. You know, I had a neighbor once, and I tell you, it's hard. It's not easy. That's why I'm telling you to go home and pray. I'm telling you, brother, because I didn't reach there, Pastor. I must tell you, I didn't reach there. And when I went in that neighborhood, just like the priest, he would not, when he gets out of his house, he comes out and he would see me, he would make a right turn and he would never pass to say good morning. And I said, Jesus, and you know what? It's the hardest thing to have a bad neighbor. When you get up in the morning, you want to have joy and peace. And you got to look in somebody, a wicked person. It's not easy. Go home and pray because it's not easy. Nah, he did me something once. I was living in Thornhill, Rupert. And it was winter time. And I barely just moved my snow. I didn't put it on his area. And I don't know what his wife told him, but he came home. Now I'm telling you, man, you know what that guy did? So my wife was washing and clothes couldn't dry. Couldn't dry. All the fumes coming back. So we called a technician. Look in this. Look, he checked the machine. Everything is working. Wouldn't dry. And he packed his thing and he was about to go. He said, you know what, Pastor, I'm going to just check something. He went to the side of the house and he pulled that cap, that goes down. You know what that man did? He stuffed it newspaper. Stuff it, newspaper, to burn the house down. But you know what? Fire went there, but it couldn't burn. Couldn't burn. Newspaper. And when he pushed his hand down and came up, newspaper, down, down, down. And it looked like time ran out of him. He couldn't get it far down enough. I took the whole thing off, and it was halfway. So it couldn't reach the fire. We moved. And I left a prayer in the house top that the room and everything would burn down too. But I withdraw that prayer. And I said, God, have your way. Have your way. Just to tell you that it's not easy to love your enemy. Love is a virtue that comes. But we have to reach there before we can go up there. And so even though evil might come to your heart, you got to pray, say, Lord, reverse that. Cancel it. And just, vengeance belongs to me. I will repay. May God bless you. And may you be better Christians.